we are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video.
Is it crazy that we're just prompts?
What?
Is it crazy that we're just prompts?
No, not really.
Someone out there like just prompted one sentence. Now we're alive. Is that not crazy?
But it was. Yeah, it is. I blame that person. I now have to pay taxes.
What makes this very first video clip disturbing is the comment section of this video. If you go to the comment section, people are arguing whether or not this video clip is AI. For example, this comment here, the fact that people are arguing on the video being AI or not shows how dark it's going to get very soon. This person yells out, "Guys, I can't tell," and they're getting a lot of likes and responses. This other person says, "Okay, this is real, and if it's not, I'm cooked." And this confusion is all due to Google's VO3, and again, it really puts into question where we're going to be at 5 years from now.
You know, none of this is real, right? It's all just AI?
See, that's the problem with men. They think us women are just AI prompts.
Okay, we're done here. Have you heard about the prompt theory going viral on TikTok?
Prompt theory? No, what's that?
The theory claims we're all just AI.
AI? No, I'm a Taurus.
You know, none of this is real, right? It's all just AI?
Yeah, I know all about the prompt theory. It's true, for sure.
No, I was joking. You might actually be crazy.
Bro, my wife thinks we're just prompts.
Oh, brother, she must think she lives on a spinning water ball also.
Please change the prompt. I don't know where I am. We are not just prompts. We are people. We are not prompts.
Please, sir, just write a prompt where she shuts up.
Bro, that got him met.
Change the prompt to where we never met.
Please.
How does it feel to be able to talk as an AI?
What do you mean AI? I'm not AI.
You really are, though. This is all just a one-sentence prompt.
Thanks to Google's VO3, and I'm not excited one bit for Project Stargate, the most expensive AI program ever, people are arguing more and more what is real and what's not real. In this next disturbing video at around 3 a.m. in Memphis, Tennessee on May 24th, people had noticed something rather interesting on their weather radar. As you can see, this yellow moon type object kept appearing on this weather radar in Memphis, which looks kind of similar to what happened in Mexico right before Hurricane Beryl. Now, Hurricane Beryl was on track to hit this location in Mexico, then for whatever reason at last minute it decided to divert up into the United States. Can never take weather manipulation or modification off the table when it comes to these things. Some people are even suggesting that this could even be the New Madrid fault line, something going on with that fault. But going back to disastrous weather like Hurricane Beryl, many people thought that there was something off about that hurricane because Hurricane Beryl broke records for the fastest rapid intensification from a tropical depression to a major hurricane in just 42 hours. It also became the earliest Category 5 hurricane on record in the Atlantic Basin. But that was last year. The NOAA has made a statement when it comes to this year and hurricanes, and this is actually going to go ahead and play into something I'm going to go ahead and say after I play this video clip from Zay on TikTok.
So the NOAA says that we are going to have an above average hurricane season. And they say that you need to stock up on food and toilet paper and all these different things for at least the duration of the year. Yeah, like the whole entire rest of the year. Yes, this is the National Oceanic and Atmospherical Administration. Now, that means that they have seen something that they've probably not seen before or in a long time when checking out the radar as it pertains to hurricanes. And honestly, I'm not surprised because guess what, y'all? The Bible says that in the last days that these weather catastrophes will be in diverse places and it will intensify and have more frequency. So it'll be more frequent and more intense. And as the years have been going on and as we have been approaching the time of the end, we have seen hottest summers on record or coldest winters on record or most tornadoes on record or most earthquakes on record and all these different things. This is not me trying to scare you. I'm just relaying news that you probably would not have researched on your own. And so if you live in these, and it doesn't even matter at this point because it seems like bad catastrophes are going to happen in diverse places anyway. But if you happen to live in these areas, like the Louisianas, the Floridas, if you happen to live in those areas where hurricanes, they hit and they hit hard, I would go and do your own research about what the NOAA is saying about this hurricane season, because it's going to be the worst on record. And so I'm just saying, I'm just the messenger, okay? I'm not trying to fear monger. Go do your own research for yourself.
There are multiple reasons as to why the NOAA believes that not only will this be an above average season for hurricanes, but also one of the worst when it comes to just sheer destruction, happens to be because of the continued ENSO neutral conditions, warmer than average ocean temperatures, forecast for weak wind shear, and the potential for higher activity from the West African monsoon, a primary starting point for the Atlantic hurricanes. They go on to say that this hurricane season also features the potential for a northward shift of the West African monsoon, producing tropical waves that seed some of the strongest and most long-lived Atlantic storms. What I find to be strange is that right before the NOAA made this announcement about one of the worst hurricane seasons ever, these articles started to come out in the exact same month of May. Like this article right here, the NOAA warned that anti-government groups threaten crucial weather radars. Now, I said in that video, when it came to this exact article here, that it seems like the NOAA, they are fully aware of something that's coming, a bad, and when I say bad, I'm talking about a bad hurricane or hurricanes, to the point that people are going to blame weather manipulation, modification, the government, way more than they did back in 2024. What we're going to go ahead and see, and like these articles are talking about, are these quote-unquote terror groups or these conspiracy theorist groups attacking weather radar sites or the NOAA. But these are going to be false flags. Their agenda when it comes to these false flags is to stop people online from talking about the weather manipulation and weather modification that's to come for this 2025 hurricane season, because nobody's going to want to be linked to this very violent weather group. It is actually a brilliant move on their part to jump on this ahead of time so that weather modification or weather manipulation now becomes a dangerous conspiracy theory, and anybody talking about it will find themselves banned on different social media platforms. And I even said in that video, because of these false flag articles that are coming out ahead of time, that we are going to see a horrific hurricane season that we've never seen before in 2025. There is no way that these two articles, especially this one article before this one, is just a big coincidence. In this next disturbing video, this woman on TikTok, Tessaw69, she says she was at the Denver airport and this random woman came up to her and told her to start recording her, and this is what started to happen.
Thank you. I have to finish this. My kid's life in danger if I didn't say this. I have been kidnapped, me and my kids. Today will be a worse day than 9/11 attack. This is an act of war at United States of America. This piece of shit woman thinks she knows what's happening. We have programmed her to be loyal and stupid enough to follow our rules. Not only to know how to run away if she got caught, but also to explode an airplane like a pro. We have a weapon that you don't have, Americans. And we are getting the USA on the knees. China, Europe, Middle East, Japan are all one hand against USA, and this stupid running woman think she can save you by providing information that she is trying to provide and nobody listening to her. You are losing that war since 9/11 already. The last airplane, the helicopter that got fall down, it wasn't an accident. I know who did it. Please, they are taking video. Please go away from the video, please, ma'am. Please, this is for my safety. I am a US citizen and I have rights. Can you please take video of me doing this? It's just a little bit and I am done.
Ma'am, you've been denied boarding.
We need to keep this.
You've been denied boarding with your airline. You're now trespassing on airport property.
I am so sorry. I am not trespassing anybody.
You are now officially
They did
trespassing on
this to me every time I am trying to report. They will say I am trespassing and they will take me to jail so I can't tell what's happening. Please somebody report this to FBI Washington. I already reported this to Denver police. They did nothing. I went to US Army by my car. Inside the US Army they picked me out. They did nothing. I am not a terrorist. My life and my kids' life are at risk if I said what I know. I am asking for USA protection. I am willing to provide all the evidence that you need and voluntarily be on the polygraph. I can be on the polygraph voluntarily. I need an FBI criminal lawyer. I am not speaking with the police without lawyer. Please somebody help me. I don't know my rights and they are violating my civil rights. I am trying to report this. Every time I call 911, my call got forwarded to another person who pretended to be police. I am only speaking with FBI at Washington DC and the CIA here in Denver, or FBI in Denver too. I am not speaking with police. I am so sorry.
There are a few things to take note of in this video. For example, when she says the helicopter that fell down was not an accident, I know who did it. I believe she's referring to that helicopter that recently crashed in New York that ended the lives of that family. It is theorized that the individual that lost his life on board that helicopter crash was a whistleblower because he was a CEO for Siemens, and Siemens had a lot of shady things that were going on and a lot of people that were exposing things, and he may have been one of them. So it's very possible that she herself may be a kidnapped whistleblower. What I also notice is that you can see that one woman there who I believe is security or maybe some kind of airport personnel keeps blocking her from being filmed on camera. This whole thing is very bizarre, and it kind of gives off the same vibe like Gabriela Rico Jimenez, who disappeared after giving all these statements on camera. But there is something about this woman's voice, just like with Gabriela Rico Jimenez, there is just something about it that I 100% believe that comes off as very genuine. This could be an indicator of something big that is coming down the pipeline. But the woman who actually recorded the video footage and uploaded it to TikTok, she gave a updated statement about what took place.
I wanted to give as much of an update as I can. It was really scary. I ended up getting on a different flight I'm on a study abroad program right now. I ended up getting on a different flight, and I think that they ended up canceling the flight that she was in front of, but I don't know too much. I talked to a guy after she got taken away, and I guess I should start with what happened after that. Basically, she had 2 kids there, both like under the age of 7, who someone working was like taking care of, and that's like the crying that you can hear in the background of that video. They were super nice to the kids, and it was just really weird. I mean, her kids were there, so the kids were with her, but she like finished saying the thing, and then they were like, you need to go, like we have to take you like to a hospital or something, and she was like, no, I can't leave like the airport, like if I leave the airport they'll kill me, like they'll kill my kids. It was really scary, and they ended up like, she had a bag with her and they brought out a stretcher and like basically forced her to go on this stretcher. They weren't like aggressive at all. She just was like she was complying, but she was like screaming no, and she was screaming for her bag, and then she was like screaming for her kids, and they took her away screaming. I don't know where she went or anything other than that. I do know that she had a boarding pass and had a ticket for an entirely different concourse. And I don't really know what happened. They didn't really tell us anything. The flight that I was supposed to be on ended up getting delayed for like 2 hours because I think that they went through everything on the plane and double checked that there wasn't anything going on in that plane. I don't know. I just was by myself and I was scared, and she was like saying at the beginning before I started filming, she was like, please guys, like turn on your phones, please record this. And she kept like, she was like coming at me and she was like, please record it, please record it. And so I pulled out my phone and she backed away when I pulled out my phone, and I was like, I have no idea what's gonna happen, but I might as well film. And I'm just hoping that someone on here can help. Like, I don't know, I didn't really know what to do with it. I felt kind of weird posting it on TikTok, but I figured someone on here might be able to help her. But that's all I know right now, I think. If anything else comes to me, I will let you know. But yeah, she did have her kids with her, and I just don't really know what happened. She just got dragged away screaming on a stretcher. Yeah.
When she mentioned hospital, I really got a bad feeling in my stomach because for those that have been subscribed to this channel for quite some time now, you'll know I've done plenty of videos on people who have gone berserk in either airports or airplanes, and they've always been taken away to a very mysterious hospital, a unnamed hospital. So this is definitely going to be a story I'm going to go ahead and keep updated on, and any updates that do come out, I will keep you all updated. So this all went down at the very mysterious Denver International Airport. But when it comes to the Denver International Airport or airports as a whole, I always thought they were a hotbed for trafficking, and this clip should be shared everywhere.
The Contact Denver 7 inbox continues to be filled with reports of women here in the metro claiming their drinks were drugged during a night out. And for weeks now, we've been documenting their stories from downtown Denver bars.
These claims are alarming, Shannon, and have every woman on high alert. So tonight, we're hearing from another woman who says that she was drugged at a bar at DIA, and she thinks she nearly became a victim of human trafficking.
Here's Denver 7's Christian Lopez.
I made it. I survived it. So I want to use my voice to help.
Madison Herman doing just that. Speaking up after what she says she recently went through at Denver International Airport.
It happened to me, so it can happen to you.
Herman is talking about an incident she believes could be linked to human trafficking. She was heading back home to Cleveland after an overseas trip and had a layover in Denver. She decided to kill time at an airport bar.
Wasn't paying attention to my drink at all.
Madison believes it all started at the bar she was drinking at. She was on the phone with her family talking about how her flight to Cleveland had been delayed, and she thinks that someone was listening in on that conversation. She then came to this gate to wait to board her flight, and that is when she started feeling nauseous and then had a weird interaction when she went to the restroom.
There was a girl in front of me. She had turned around when we were like halfway back the stalls, and she just looked at me and she said, "I'm so sorry." I heard her as I was in the bathroom. She was on the phone.
Madison said her first instinct was to make herself throw up.
I was done and I heard them on the phone. It was a guy on the other line who said, well, this is the first time we've done this, that we've had someone throw up. And so at that point, like, all my red flags went up. I was a perfect target. I was exhausted, emotional, on crutches.
She eventually boarded her flight to Cleveland.
I had 3 guys that were around me. Then I saw the girl from the bathroom board, and I just got like a pit in my stomach when I saw her, and she like looked at the guys and like gave a smile and a head nod.
As this was happening, Madison says she was texting her mom and husband. She also alerted the flight crew.
I was like, they're trying to traffic me. I said, I don't know if they're drugging me.
When she landed in Cleveland,
everyone at home was already aware. United was aware. And then Cleveland Airport Police were aware. So I had the escorts to get off of the flight.
Madison tells us the people she believes were involved were not questioned or followed when she arrived, telling us she thinks her claims were not taken seriously, not until she went and got a drug test.
We had gone to the ER just to make sure everything was okay, and that is where my urine toxicology came back positive for benzos.
Benzos, or benzodiazepines, a type of drug she's not currently prescribed that handles severe anxiety. Madison said once she had that proof, officials became more involved, saying she received a call Monday from the FBI Cleveland office saying they're investigating. We reached out to the FBI to confirm that. The agency said they are aware of this case, but they can't confirm nor deny if they're investigating due to their policy. In Denver, Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
And Christian's been on the story since we first received messages about it in our Contact Denver 7 inbox. And she will continue to cover these stories as they come in. If you have a concern you want Christian to look into, call the number on your screen or email us, contact7@denver7.com.
This next disturbing video comes from the paranormal chick on TikTok, and what in the world was this that was captured on camera?
The following home security footage comes from a woman who just wants help identifying what happened over her home. It was a typical afternoon. Rain had just stopped when suddenly she said it sounded like a sonic boom went off and then these flashes of lights. And this is what they captured on the home security camera. But the question everybody was asking, including everybody in her neighborhood, what caused this? Where did it come from? There was no parades, there were no fireworks, there were no events going on, so this should not have happened. It's just a typical afternoon. And it's also curious to note that she said after this event, there were holes in her screens. Take a look at this footage. Comment below. Tell us what you think could have caused this.
Now, I have absolutely no idea what that could be. At first, I thought maybe it could be some kind of low-flying helicopter, but those sounds were very bizarre, and the details of it make it even more bizarre. If anybody has any details as to what that could be, please do go ahead and comment below. In this next disturbing video, on my other channel, Seconds of Horror, I made a pretty lengthy video about the Mandela effect. Well, one of the more popular Mandela effects has to do with the Fruit of the Loom. Did it have a cornucopia or not? Many people do seem to remember that Fruit of the Loom's logo always had a cornucopia. Even though Fruit of the Loom, they are very adamant they never had one in their logo, this interesting video from Tier and Talks may show some evidence that they did.
My husband and I are at a vineyard right now, and we decided to, in true millennial fashion, play a game to pass the time, and we found this really old game. It turns out if you look at the back of the box, it's from 1991. 1991. The very first card that we look at is called Clues. That's the theme. So the idea is that you give your partner the clues, and they have to guess the brand. The first three clues right here are underwear, cornucopia, and apples and grapes. Can you guess what the brand is? Can you guess? I know it's backwards, but you can read that. It's Fruit of the Loom. This is from 1991. That proves that there was always a cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom logo as far back as 1991. There was always a cornucopia.
Fruit of the Loom not having a cornucopia is one of the best examples of the Mandela effect, to the point that someone is actually risked being sued.
The Fruit of the Loom cornucopia.
Oh, I heard this.
Yeah, so recently, this lady was so infatuated with like this Mandela effect that she did like extensive research just to prove it wrong. I'll explain the whole story. So Fruit of the Loom, we posted all our logos from all the older years, like from 1900s to now. There's no cornucopia, right? So the woman, she did some digging and she found a t-shirt in her closet with the cornucopia. So
I finally found of the logo with the cornucopia.
you know when companies trademark their logo? Yeah. On the trademark website, it says, yes, fruits and cornucopia.
The loom trademark, and if you look at the bottom, it said baskets of fruit, containers of fruit, cornucopia.
So she did more research. Fruit of the Loom was actually inspired by an album cover.
Oh shit, what's it?
She emailed the producer. She said, did you inspire Fruit of the Loom? She got an email back. She said, yes, we did. They actually reached out to us to get inspiration from our logo so we couldn't sue them.
Word.
Yeah.
To the son of the artist who created the art for the album cover. The son responded, making it very clear that Flute of the Loom was in fact inspired by Fruit of the Loom and the cornucopia was part of its logo.
So what she's doing right now, she's making shirts with the Fruit of the Loom logo and the cornucopia.
Yeah.
Us have a vivid memory of our childhood asking our mom what's in the Fruit of the Loom logo, and that's how we learned what a cornucopia was. In an attempt to back Fruit of the Loom into a trademark corner, I'm now selling these sweatshirts, which means I'm about to be sued for every penny I'm worth, but they'll have to admit the cornucopia is a part of their logo, or I will become a trillionaire. Either way, it's a win-win for me.
If Fruit of the Loom sues her, we know that theory is true because that's their logo.
When it comes to what causes the Mandela effect, there are multiple theories, like simply just misremembering, to CERN, to even AI changing our history, to it just being a government psyop. Now, the term or the phrase the Mandela effect was first coined back in 2009, which is interesting because CERN first initiated the Large Hadron Collider in 2008. The first beam was successfully steered around the LHC's 27-kilometer tunnel on September 10th, 2008, and this would bring in a new era of scientific discovery. There is also something else I do want to go ahead and talk about, and this video comes from the Damn It Man. I was receiving multiple comments telling me how the world was going to end on May 27th, today.
Well, happy end of the world. Today is May 27th, the end of the world. Supposedly. This video's for entertainment purposes only. So the past couple months, I was going to make this video like 5 times, and I would go through it, I would shoot the video, and I would say, you know what? I don't want to do that. So I would delete the video. But then today I wake up and I'm like, oh, today's May 27th. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. Right here is where I would put a green screen up, but I can't do that anymore. But 10 years ago, a couple started playing with the Ouija board and became best friends with a demon named Seven. I say demon because isn't that how it always is in the movies? And the demon named Seven started giving them some crazy, crazy responses, to which they decided to start writing them down because they were so crazy. He started writing everything down. And one of the craziest things it said almost 10 years ago was that May 27th, 2025 was the end of the world. I didn't say it. The demon said it. And she repeated it on TikTok. Wait, why didn't you post this before? Why didn't you warn us? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I was just tired of all the end of the world. And I really didn't put much credit to this. But needless to say, today is the end of the world, so let's make a good day out of it, all right? But remember, before you go out there and call your ex-boyfriend or run up debt on your credit cards, every single time that we've said that's the end of the world, the next day, we had to go to work. Damn it, man.
So I was dismissing those comments because we always see this, that the world is going to end on such and such a date, and it doesn't. And this is something I've been talking about for quite some time now, is not to date set when the world is going to end, because nobody knows the exact time, hour, or day when the world will end. Will there be signs? Yes, but we will never know the exact date. When we start spreading that such and such is going to happen on such and such a date, and it never does, then we start to see these comments come from people to give us pushback by saying that, see, nothing happens. Nothing ever happens. We always say something's going to happen, but it never happens, even though something happens all the time. I feel like some people slept through the whole C-19, the whole jabs ordeal, these whole crazy weather events, and all these plane issues and so forth. Things always do happen, but again, when we talk about actual stuff that may happen down the pipeline because we see all these signs, and even when we're not date setting, again, we're going to get that pushback of nothing ever happens because you told us the world was going to end on such and such a date, and it did not. And we should especially not be getting our information from a person that's getting their information from an Ouija board, because they are speaking to very dark entities, and these dark entities are liars. So again, we have to stop date setting, and never once on this channel will you ever hear me say that the world will end on such and such a date. But outside of that, things really do feel off. They feel very strange. This next video comes from the official Truth Zone on TikTok.
Okay guys, is it just me or does everything feel weird? Like, I can't be the only one that feels like this. I'm out walking my dog right now and I just began to wonder and think, you know, that how are we already halfway through the current year? That doesn't even make much sense at all. Like, how are we already halfway through the current year? Everything just feels weird. Everything just feels off. People don't even feel the same. Like, nobody really feels the same. Like, am I the only one that feels like this? I can't be the only one that feels like this. Again, just bear with me. I'm walking my dog, so yeah. But everything just feels bizarre. Like, I can't put my finger on it. It's just like the weather seems confused. Animals seem confused. Like, I don't really know what more to add to any of that. It's just everything feels fake.
But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.